what do you got planned for Friday? Anything exciting?
Well, we have a big release show that night.
Oh, and where's that? In Chicago, I assume.
In Chicago at Tolley Hall, which is a big, beautiful old venue that I actually used to work at, coincidentally.
Oh, cool. And so what kind of presentation? Is it a full band experience kind of thing?
Yeah, there's 4 of us, synth, sax, saxophone, guitar, bass, drums, and we have a big projection behind us.
Oh, what do you project?
This artist, I'm going to botch her name, Diana is the first name, Diana Lynn something, made this really beautiful loop of this sort of like spacey underwater digital world. Is
it similar to, I just saw there's a visualization of Utopia Planet that's gone up on YouTube. It's kind of similar to that. Is that the same thing?
Sort of, not really, but I mean, it is also digital animation.
Right. And I'm curious, why did you pop Utopia Planet up a day or two before the release? Is there a reason that you chose that track?
People avalanche, steeper slope. Hovers on the edge, bigger scope.
I think it's maybe my favorite song on the record. I really like it, but I also think it's like a little less accessible than the other singles. So thought I'd slip it in at the end.
Get them used to it.
Yeah. Get them on my side, get them to trust me, then throw something really weird at them.
Right. So you produced this record with, and I hope I get the pronunciation, Yoni Wolf?
Yoni Wolf, yeah.
Yoni Wolf, yep. Who you first worked with a couple of years ago. So I am assuming that collaboration in 2019 kind of spurred you on to do this with them. Can you tell me about how you guys work together?
Yeah, definitely. I think more than anything, what spurred me to work with Yoni was this record he made with the rapper Serengeti, who's also from Chicago.
Right.
It's under Yoni and Getty. Testosterosa is the name of it. But I love that record so much, and I think the production is really special and excellent. And that record is honestly what made me decide that I wanted to work with him. It just seemed like in a similar vein of what I was going for. And Yoni works really hard, and he's experimental, which I wanted to be pushed with this record. And also, we have a personal relationship after collaborating a couple of years ago, so I felt like we would be comfortable with each other, talking about the music.
And what did you talk about with him about the music? What kind of conversations do you have going into making the thing with him?
I mean, we talked a lot about how the personal relationship was going to work, like how we were going to communicate, and we're both band leaders. It's hard for us both to compromise, and we talked a lot about that and just like preserving our friendship. But otherwise, I mean, we just got into it. It was like we'd listen to a demo and just talk about what each of us heard for the song and how we were going to pursue that.
Okay, so obviously it must have gone well, because here we are at the end of it, and you have a record.
Yeah, it went really well. I mean, I'm overjoyed with how everything turned out. It was very hard. Like there were moments where we were really butting heads, and it was difficult. But ultimately, I'm really happy with it came out, and I feel like there's certain things he pushed me to do with the record that I'm really happy with, and there's certain things that I really pushed back on and made like my idea be the forefront of a certain song or something. And I feel really happy with where we landed on everything.
Cool. Sounds like a true collaboration.
Yes, definitely.
All of the ups and downs that go with that.
Yeah.
Now, my understanding is, from what I've read, that the track Diver is kind of considered the thesis of the album. I don't know if that's true or not, but I thought I'd throw that out there to you and find out what that means.
Maybe I could be a diver.
song is just about you know, being Sisyphus, making the same mistakes over and over again, climbing up the hill.
Yep.
Over and over again, and what that means and how you deal with that. You know, like how do you come to terms with having to repeat the same task over and over again, and you know, as I say, how to open the door,
Yeah.
how to get to the top of the hill, and yeah, Dive is just the most concrete example of that. There's a lot of other songs are talking about that kind of thing, but in a more abstract way, or like in a referencing a specific situation that has to do with that. But Diver is really me just saying, like, why am I like this? Why is it so hard? How do I change? How do I be better? Like, does it ever end? No.
Right. Well, do we want it to end?
Right. No.
Well, there. Not that I'm any kind of student of Sisyphus or mythology or philosophy or anything, but I did notice that Camus, I believe, considered that Sisyphus was probably the happiest when he was pushing the rock up the hill. There, so there you go.
know, I actually read about that after writing that song, and after like talking about Sisyphus a little bit, I found out about that Camus passage, which I think is, yeah, it's really, really powerful. One must imagine Sisyphus happy.
Right.
I love that. I love reading that. It's very much we're in the same school of thought on that. One must imagine Sisyphus happy. One must imagine yourself happy, and then you will become happy.
Sounds good to me. Now, another track I wanted to point out was the color of the pool, especially the sax playing. You have a guy named Adam. Is it Schatz? That's your sax player. So. Tell me a little bit about him and about how he did his thing for you. And
yeah, he just plays saxophone on that song. Sen Morimoto plays saxophone on the other songs.
Oh, okay.
But Adam is just Adam has a band called Landlady. He's very creative, extremely proficient musician in many, many instruments. And I think that Yoni and I just felt like he would have an idea of what to do with that song, and I think we sent him a Sun Lux song as an example. And he sent us a lot of different options of him playing saxophone. He also did it in like 5 seconds. He was in the middle of moving from New York to Vermont, and he was like, I don't have my equipment set up, but I'll see what I can do in the next day. Right. And we went to, usually when someone sends tracks, we would listen to each one with the song one by one. And we accidentally pressed play on all of them at the same time. And it sounded incredible. We were like, holy shit, this is actually what it should be. And it was a little earlier in the song. We just moved it to the end, to the outro. That's
fantastic. The happy accident thing that you kind of allow yourself to use. That's great. Does that happen?
Magical.
Do you think like that? Do you kind of hope for things like that when you're making music?
Of course. Happy accidents. So it's like you didn't even try. It's wonderful.
Very good.
You can like go over a song over and over again. Like, what is wrong with it? What does it need? What do I need to do? Try so hard and it's not working. And then suddenly something like that happens.
Very cool. Very cool. Now I noticed when I was listening to several tunes kind of end, and then they have little codas or little instrumental bits that kind of run off at the end. Like there's, I don't know if it's a zither at the end of Prove It or something that's kind of going on, an accordion at the end of another one, and a cello and stuff like that. Where did that come from? Is that a kind of recurring theme, or is it just something that happened?
It's so interesting. I don't think any of the instruments that you mentioned are on the record.
That's what I figured.
I don't know. I mean, we just tried to see what each song wanted and how it wanted to resolve. You know, some songs want a hard stop. They say what they want to say, you know, with lyrics or music, and then they're finished instantly. You know, they're like, I want to leave immediately. And other songs drift away. I mean, I was definitely more conscious of making the whole record be cohesive and an environment in a way that I haven't before. Less so like this song, now this song, now this song. You know, more so the little journey. So definitely that. But yeah, it was all that stuff is just instinct. You know, it's just what should be here, do I think.
So did you spend quite a bit of time thinking about the sequencing of the record?
Yes. I mean, I wouldn't say quite a bit of time, but a concentrated amount of time. Like it was we were very intentional with the order, and there was a song actually that I thought fit on the record better that didn't make it because it was messing with the sequence that we created. We were like really happy with how the sequence was going. We couldn't fit this one song, so it didn't make it. And actually, I'm not going to say which song, but one of the songs on the record I didn't think was going to make it on the record, but it fit the sequence better.
Okay. So, well, at least you got something in your pocket for a single or a B-side or starting off the next record. So there you go.
Yeah.
So how long ago did you make this record? When were the recording sessions taking place? Was it recent? Or was it a while ago?
We started January 2020 and finished, or February 2020 and finished March 2021.
It's a fairly lengthy process.
Well, COVID.
That's true. Did you have to stop?
There was a big issue.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. We're all locked down here all of a sudden. So, or not all of a sudden, for the last 7 weeks it's been, and we thought we had it all whooped down here, but there you go. We didn't.
Yes, COVID. We had originally intended to make it faster and in person, but I went to England for 4 months, where my parents live.
Right.
And we did most of it remotely.
Right. So did you spend some time growing up in England?
Yeah, I lived there until I was 13.
Yeah, I thought I detected an accent somewhere in there, but there you go. And how much does because I will share with you that I was also born in England, but I grew up in the States. So does it inform your music, being a Brit, a Pom, as they say down here?
Really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, who's to say, I as much as it influences my personality, maybe, I think maybe, being British, I try not to take myself too seriously. I feel like that's a British quality, is like poking fun at yourself. And maybe I do that in music too. But I do think music is very serious. I'm like not really a fan of joke music that, the only example I can think of is Weird Al, but there's like tons of bands. And I actually think Weird Al's cool, but
I think
there's tons of bands that, he seems cool. Do joke music that I'm not super into. But I just generally try not to take myself too seriously, or just like life too seriously. Just try and remember it's just like a big cosmic joke happening.
Right. My mind is racing, trying to think of what other things would be joke music. As you're telling me.
Well, I also don't want to call anyone out. I would never want to put.
For some reason, I have the song "Peaches" by the President of the United States going through my head when you said that.
I know that song, but I don't remember it now.
Anyway, we digress. You have a lot of people also on the record with you. And with COVID and all that stuff happening, what kind of things did you have to go through to get them to be able to do? Because I assume you didn't have a lot of interaction face to face in the same room.
No,
kind of thing.
Most people recorded themselves, and it was actually quite easy because everyone was available.
That's true.
Yeah,
nobody's on the road.
Yeah, just text your friends. Hey, do you happen to be at your house every day? Yeah, why? Yes, I do, actually.
And had you worked like that previously with people?
Never. The last 2 records I made were essentially live.
Right. So this is a big deal as far as what's your reflection on the 2 different ways of working? Do you have a preference?
I don't know. Yeah, it depends on what you're trying to make, but I did very much enjoy this process. It's like getting stems back from someone is like Christmas. You're like, what'd you do? How does it sound?
Right.
But yeah, I would definitely be up for recording something else live again.
Gotcha.
I like both. Yeah.
And the artwork for the album, did you have much to say about that?
Oh yes, yeah, I was very intentional. It's this artist Jane Kilcullen, who I found on the internet, friend of a friend, and I just I loved her work, and I sort of gave her some guidelines and some imagery that I wanted to include that were like references to lyrics or to themes on the record, and that I wanted like an avatar of myself, essentially, an uncanny representation, and yeah, she just ran with it and killed it.
And how much did you always have this visualization of yourself as an avatar, or what was it like coming up with that kind of concept?
I was just thinking about that with the record. You know, I was thinking a lot about perception, in general, and like, what is the true self, or does it even exist? You know, like, how can you be truly present? And what does it mean to be witnessed? Like, how does that change how you act or how you think about what you're doing? So yeah, I hadn't thought about it really before this record, but I guess when I was a little kid, I was obsessed with the game The Sims and would definitely make myself. So actually, yes.
Do you read a lot of philosophy?
No, not at all. I read a lot of fiction.
Really?
Yeah, I'm like an avid fiction reader. I just eat it up. Feels like watching TV for me. I'm just like, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I want to touch on was the percussive element of the album and the drumming. So you have a gentleman whose name I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce.
Nnamdi Ogbenaya.
That's the one. Beautifully done. I assume that's him playing through most of it. Was that part of your vision of the record? Is it have that kind of propulsive percussion going through it?
Nnamdi only plays drums on Diver.
Okay.
I just thought he would be perfect for that song. We tried a couple different people, a couple different types of drums, and I just thought Nnamdi is like, I mean, he sort of came up doing math rock and punk and is a super skilled, versatile, and fast drummer. And I just sort of gave him the prompt as Kate Bush. And that's what he came back with, and it was perfect. And then Yoni added, I think that the percussive elements are mostly Yoni, because he comes from rap and has made beats his whole life, and I think that a lot of the percussive ideas were his. But also Abby Black plays on a couple of songs, who's my longtime drummer, best friend. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I love that you mentioned Kate Bush, because obviously she is running up that hill, and there's the
right. She ran up the hill. She runs up that hill.
Still running.
Yeah.
And of course, you kind of close out the record with a track called GB, which I believe is your grandmother. Is that right?
That is right. It's Grandma Beth.
Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Cheerio, here I go on my way. Bring me a smile I can keep all the while in my heart while I'm away. Oh, you're away, I don't remember. Shall we meet once again, you and I? Wish me luck as you wave me goodbye. Okay?
Cool. So, she a fan?
Oh yes. Yeah, I'm obsessed with her. I showed her, or my dad showed her the song. I had been wanting to sample her for a while, and I was a little worried that she wouldn't like it. But she loved it, and she already says she has more songs for me.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. The next record is coming together quickly. Are you thinking ahead? Are you thinking in those kind of terms?
No, not at all. I don't know what I'll make next. Maybe I'll just gonna see what happens. Maybe I'll make a piano record, or maybe I'll make a techno record, or maybe I'll work with Yoni again. I'm not sure. I mean, I really liked not sticking to a genre at all. Yeah. I really enjoyed this process.
Cool. So you're going to be playing in front of a group of people in a couple of days. Are you reticent about that? Are you concerned? Are you excited? How are you feeling?
I mean, in terms of COVID, everyone has to be vaccinated or a negative test, and everyone has to wear masks. I'm mostly excited. I'm a little nervous, but I'm just really excited. I haven't played a show in 2 years, and it's just a really big celebration of the culmination of the work of a lot of people, and I think it's going to be very emotional.
Cool. Cool. And of course, you never know what's going to happen with the music itself when it comes off the stage. So I guess that should be exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excellent. Well, thank you very much for telling me all about it. Good luck on
No
Friday.
problem. Thank you. Thank you for talking to me.
My pleasure. Have a good one. Bye-bye.